Greetings, Harbingers. Welcome to Iliaster, PewDiePie's favorite channel, your realm of personal development, alchemy, and stoicism. Today we are in the woods. It's a beautiful scenario I found here near a park in the city. I like to record in public places, but I don't like being spotted, being recorded. I think some people might feel uncomfortable, and I try not to cut people or cars or whatever on camera. So I try my best, but it's a beautiful scenario. I hope you enjoy. Let's have a talk. So please subscribe to the channel, give the thumbs up, help a brother out. Let's grow this channel. Without further ado, let's go to the video. Shadow of Death. Your horse will drown and you need to keep smiling. What the hell is this about? The term shadow of death comes from the Bible, from Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness, for his name's sake. Oh, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Wow, that's the King James Version. If you ask me, hey, how do you memorize this? Well, of course, Megadeth, Shadow of Death from The System Has Failed, 2004. I love that track, there's an amazing solo, and I got to memorize the most famous verse of the Bible by just listening to that song several times, right? I divagate off to the video. What is the shadow of death? Have you ever been to those moments in life? I'm not even talking about physical pain, but moments proves that will put you up to your best endurance ability. Moments of agony, terror, sadness, dismay. I think most of us, at least once or more in a lifetime, goes through these moments of difficulty, and at certain point we think we can't make it, and unfortunately some people actually don't. They take a path that could end up terminating their existence without even reaching the end of that process. You know what I'm talking about. I'm being very poetic here, even though this is something really terrible because of YouTube, you know, right? The idea for this video came from a movie scene from The Never-Ending Story, where Atreus' horse Artax drowns in the swamp of sadness. So it's a very strong scene, and the swamp is some sort of a symbol of depression, despair, and overwhelming challenges, whereas the drowning horse represents loss, helplessness, and the struggle to keep moving forward. If I knew there are so many cars behind me, I would have chosen a different scenario. It's really hard to focus with all this car noise. Anyway, let's continue. So imagine yourself with your long life companion. A horse, such a special animal, right? And all of a sudden, you have to go to a dark swamp, and in this swamp your horse starts drowning. And the only thing you can do is to keep going without the horse. And as your horse is finding their own demise drowning in that swamp, the horse still tells you to keep smiling and keep moving forward. Who is the horse in that metaphor that I took from The Never-Ending Story? We can say that the horse is that part of ourselves that was built to survive no matter what. We humans, and I will say this without sound arrogant because it is true, we are the greatest manifestation of this phenomenon called life. And we are built to survive no matter what, even in the darkest of the situations. However, we were not built to constantly deal with pain, especially when this pain is that of the soul, not necessarily physical pain. What happens is that our brains can't acknowledge the concept of death. And sometimes, in order to get rid of that pain, some people take the most irrational path. Again, I'm not using the terms. There is a sentence, since we are deep in this subject, my idea for this video wasn't going on this path, but I sense I must say this, I should say this. I just remember a sentence I heard once. It's something along those lines. You do not have the right to take the life of your parents' precious child. In other words, you are not allowed to terminate your existence because your existence matters to your parents or to someone, to yourself, even if your pain is blindfolding you to acknowledge that how valued you are, my friend. I admire people that, despite all adversity, keep a smile in their faces and build and coat themselves in this solid cloak of resilience. And no matter how life hits them hard, they can resist and fight back even harder. Honestly, I myself don't know if I have such a strong resilience coat. In today's world's facilities, we fortunately have access to strategically overcome and anticipate problems and pains, you know. Life is easier these days in a way, and in certain ways are not. But we have accomplished a lot as civilization, and more complex issues, that of the mind, that of the soul, that we call today depression, burnout, those diseases that aren't necessarily physical, and we are still figuring out how to deal with them. If we aren't resilient and we aren't proper equipped, those swamps could be pretty dark, could be like a shadow of death. Indeed. I want to end this video in a positive note because, wow, this was tough, man. Solid talk, but a tough one. In today's world, fragility is being glamorized, and I think that's wrong. We can't accept fragility as something good, but we should acknowledge that we are passive of stay in a fragile state, stay vulnerable at times. And because of that, we have to be backed up with inner strength and resilience to overcome those moments. It's some sort of reverse psychology in which you can anticipate these openings, these situations that could bring fragility and vulnerability to, okay, I have the right mindset to deal with this and to overcome this situation and reinvent myself and reborn as a newer, stronger individual. So, my friend, even if your horse is drowning, wear up a smile and keep moving forward. Please leave a comment, what do you think? And see you in the next video. El Psy Congru.